Hey, what's going on? It's your boy KLA Cloud around the world, about to give it to you once again. Yeah, I got an interview with a lovely guest. Her name is Ayla Nova, and she's gonna tell her story about how she got into bodybuilding and do other things as well. And how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm all right. What you been up to?
Work, as always, just hanging out with clients, training clients, training myself.
How was that like for you? Like you're a fitness instructor?
Yes, I teach kind of like strength training sessions, yoga classes, and I also do online programming. So I create programs for people to do on their own.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Like, how many clients you see?
Physically in person, um, 20 something, and then online clients, also members. So
You're breaking up a little bit. Yeah. You hear me? Yeah, yeah, you're breaking up the sound. I can't hear you too much, but
oh, it looks like it's good on my end. I have,
okay.
and I can hear you fine.
Oh, okay. So why don't you tell your story of how you got into bodybuilding?
Um, Pretty much, I needed an outlet, and it really helped me relieve stress. And um, I guess if you do something enough, then you become an expert at it. And here I am, a pro bodybuilder now.
Oh, okay. How long you been doing that?
How long have I been competing or working out?
I mean, well, how long have, well, that's a good question, but like overall, like, you competing and stuff like that? Or
I have been competing for 7 years.
7 years? Oh, what was that like, on in your first show?
Regarding what?
No, like you starting out, like by, in competitions and stuff like that.
Um, well, I mean, it was pretty much the same as just like, I mean, working out has been a part of my daily routine, and I already did like the meal prepping before I ever even like executed show prep. Um, so yeah, it was pretty much like the same thing. I didn't really have to change my lifestyle too much. Um, yeah, I mean, I definitely wanted to wait until I had built enough muscle before I competed. Um, so that's why I waited quite a while before doing my first competition. Um,
Um, so, so before you was competing, you already started bodybuilding. If I could, if,
Essentially, yeah, like it's
okay.
have that same dedication before as I do during prep. Like I guess with most people, it's like when they're not competing for something, they're not as like strict and regimented as they would be if they're on prep, or they may like skip a day of training, or just like eat however they want to. Um, but the way I was before is like as if I was already on prep. Like I would already prep my food. I already crunched the macros. I have like my plan of what I'm going to train that day, and it's all written out. So actually, starting prep was no different from what I had already been doing, except for gradually reducing calories and increasing cardio.
Okay, okay. Yeah, like, yeah, I asked because it's not always, you know, um, bodybuilding is a complicated. Well, I don't want to say complicated, but it takes time of learning and stuff, because it's a lot. You know, that's why I kind of asked
Yeah,
if
there's
it
a
makes sense.
that go into it that I didn't think of, you know, until I started competing and my coach started explaining it to me. You know, like unless we are trying to get to like single digit body fat percentage, um, which we shouldn't do unless we're competing for a show, then we don't really know how to, you know, like modify the training and the eating and that to where you're still pushing to lose more and more weight. And then you run into the obstacles of, um, you know, like fatigue and like fatigue all the time and,
Hmm.
you know, slower recovery. Um, and then sometimes even trouble sleeping because you're so hungry. And those aren't normally things that I would experience, you know, if I wasn't prepping for a show because it's like, if I'm hungry, I'm going to go eat. If I'm, you know, and most of it yields towards the eating. Like, you know, you just can't do as much as you could before when you're dieting because the energy is just not there. So, you know, kind of like making modifications to where you can still burn the calories that you're supposed to, but in like the safest way, so that you're not burning yourself out. Um, I started like splitting my cardio session into two, like doing some in the morning, and then you know rest, do some later on in the afternoon. Um, and that was something that my coach definitely had to teach me because you know I don't understand the resting part.
Yeah.
I have to tell someone, or someone has to tell me that I have to stop. Like it's my homework. I have to stop. I have to rest. Or else, so that part is probably the most important learning lessons that I've learned throughout doing prep and bodybuilding.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like, it's, just wait, I got a question for you. Like, you said that, you know, bodybuilding was like a an escape for you being stressed out. Like,
Yes.
what's the difference between like the stuff you dealing with and the stuff that you was doing, but the stuff before bodybuilding? If I could ask you that question.
I mean, I'm pretty transparent about that stuff now. It helps that I have a therapist because I can talk to him about the feelings evoked from those situations. Um, and then, you know, like when I'm discussing it with other people, I can just be like, you know, this was the event, blah, blah. So when I was younger, I would say like 17, 18 years old is when I really got into just strictly lifting. Um, Mostly because like in high school, you know, I was doing cross country, track, and swim, and then I did like a little bit of weight training on the side. But once I graduated high school, that's when I just dedicated everything strictly to building muscle and not doing a ton of cardio. Um, so it was mainly because of a very dysfunctional home life, like my family. Um, and I just needed to have a place where I could um, like building myself up again from being torn down constantly. Um, and I just, you know, when we have the contrast of something that makes us feel very shitty and then something that makes us feel amazing, like it really stands out. And that was like a huge dopamine hit. Um, and just after feeling like so low for so long and feeling like there was no way to escape it unless I actually like, you know, left my family, like the environment in general. Um, you know, but going to the gym, it's like it was a mini escape from that. so that I can kind of uh, handle stuff better, like the negative parts of life. I handled it while feeling much more grounded instead of like emotionally fragile entering the chaos. It was like I had a better sense of clarity and well-being as I entered the chaos.
Yeah,
And
I could relate a bit what you're saying. There's times, like, when I was a teenager, I used to work out also. I still do a bit, but not as I would compare, it's different, for me. But I've gone through problems and stuff, and working out was like a sense of getting away from certain certain stress around you and stuff like that. I would kind of even like meditate and all that stuff, do yoga, and but it still wasn't enough because it was a lot. So just getting older, like I would say, like when my teens and then young adult, then adulthood and stuff. But I can relate to what you're saying about that. So a little bit. I haven't gone through that type of trauma, but but stressing out and dealing with like a lot of issues, yeah,
I
I
mean,
would say that.
some people like internalize certain stressors differently. So it's like, one thing that may seem like, a speed bump in the road to me may be, a tragedy to someone else. And so like we all deal with stress. And I think that like everyone should try to move their body some type of way where they have that release of dopamine. Um, and it's not always like strength training for me. Like uh, bodybuilding, strength training is like not just my go-to every single time. Um, though I do bodybuilding, like bodybuilding doesn't define who I am. So like I may do yoga one day, or I may like run 10 miles, or do a really heavy workout where I'm like just deadlifting and slamming heavy weight. It's contingent on like the circumstances and like how I'm feeling inside. Um, and I try to just be very congruent with, like how I feel and what I do. Like, like if I feel like I really work out, or like I don't want to do it in the first place. And I would rather go outside and run through the woods for 5 miles than like I try to listen to what what my soul needs, and I do that. Now, of course, when I'm on show prep, I just have to do what I have to do, and I
Yeah.
do. But either the body is anyone and everyone. I think if more people you went to the gym, then there would be like um, less people relying on drugs, and less people with um, depression and anxiety.
Yeah, I hear stories about bodybuilders, being stressed out, some committed suicide, some for other reasons and stuff like that. And it seems like, I'm just like the average Joe. I look at, women bodybuilders and stuff, women bodybuilders like in general, and I didn't really realize that they were going through these issues like that. So, till I hear, people with interviews and stuff. So
Yeah, it's definitely like eye opening to like get to know the person as a human and not just as a bodybuilder. Um, like when I'm up with all the other females, I think of like you know everyone, each of them has their own story, and
yeah,
so like the audience, all they see, which is what they're there for, is the crazy physique that these people have. Their suit, the glamour, like the aesthetic. Um, but like each of those people, they have a very unique story. And I think that anyone who dedicates that much energy and time into building that kind of physique, they have something that they're like trying to heal from or run from. As my coach said, anyone who spends more than 5 days a week, 4 or 5 days a week in the gym, they have something that they're going through, because that's like going past, just like health and fitness, because like you can only recover so quick. So there's like underlying mental stuff that, those kind of people are working through. And it's very real that a lot of those competitors, like you said, some of them have been suicidal, and it's real, and I think that I'm thankful for, people like you, that, take the time to get to know us as an actual person and not just, know us by our physique, because we are much more than that.
I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes it's about that a little bit, but I try to kind of like, I wouldn't say I'm like a schmo expert like that. I just I'm the guy that that likes the pictures, admire them, and kind of like display them on my YouTube channel and stuff like that. But I be getting burned by that. So, but but there's I would say that there's people that I've reached out to and give me the opportunity, and I would like to learn from them, like how they got into the sport, just looking at you know I try not to be superficial. That's the simple way I could express it, so. But
Like
you have a guess.
a person to get to know you for you, not like by the style of t-shirt that you're wearing, so it's like all of us as humans, we want to be, seen and appreciated for who we are. Bodybuilders
I
are.
mean, I agree, but reality, society, it's not like that, because they display a lot of stuff. They display, a lot of sexual stuff. I mean, superficial things like, being well dressed, or nothing wrong with being well dressed, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like just like the finest things in life, like just your finances is good, or a lot of stuff, that could be superficial, and it's kind of it's more than that. So it's and then you kind of get kind of like I would kind of look at it like an ocean. It'll swallow you up, like because it's a lot of it. It's a lot. It's like it's an environment where it's I don't know how to say it articulately, but it's a lot to kind of like make people disarray from I would say reality. If I could say that, that's the best way. I'm sorry if I'm not expressing my the way I'm saying it, but you know.
Like not only when like the world values this stuff, and then also like us as a person, when we also value the superficial stuff, it's a never ending race, but I think that it's not as bad when, we as humans, understand what is truly valuable to us, such as like our health, our mental well being, time spent with people that we love, who we are within, um, then it doesn't really matter what the rest of the world thinks, that defines you. Like if they're looking at, okay, what kind of, brand is she wearing, or, like how much does she make, what her job is, or religion, that's fine if, the world thinks that, but as long as we know, like what truly defines us, then it's not really that bad.
Easy said than done, but you could get that. All the way, George Page. Hey, folks. Hello, Ayla. You are beautiful, and sometimes it can be frustrating, but focus on the people who deserve to be recognized. Yeah, but I mean, how do you like for you like how do you keep your mind balanced or focus? If I could ask you that question.
Um, a lot of things. So I'm definitely an introvert, and I find that having my alone time really helps me recenter and like refocus, um, like just some dead time where I can, listen to my own thoughts. Because when I'm with people, I'm like thinking of their needs and, their goals and making sure everyone's okay. And, um, like all the clients I have, it's a lot of responsibility. And it is a good way to like distract myself from things or kind of like rechannel my focus if something negative is on my brain. Um, because once I'm tending to other people, I'm no longer thinking about myself. But also having the balance of not neglecting myself and nurturing myself. I do need some alone time. Whether that's like just my hour of strength training or doing some cardio or just turning off my phone, whenever I'm done with work at 8 p.m. and like enjoying some warm food, like not looking at my phone, doing emails. Um, so, yeah, creating that, a positive headspace. Um, it's definitely been like homework for myself on a daily basis to separate, you know, home, relaxing time, and then like work, emails, clients, all the other responsibilities when I clock in for that. Like when I leave my home.
Right, right. Like, are you having like any like competitions this year or anything like that?
No. Um, I'm still moving through some legal stuff. I got divorced 2023, and kind of like reestablished my entire life. Literally,
Mm,
I had to relocate my business. I had to find a new place to live. Both of those things entailed a lot of renovations. So I've been learning a lot about how to fix things and make things, and not necessarily something that I was skilled in before, but it was a learning process. Um, yeah, so I'm just waiting until everything's settled and my feet are fully on the ground before I venture off into something else that isn't
yeah,
part easy to do. Because I don't want to add more complications onto something that's already very difficult. I like to take pride in my work and not rush things, especially a pro debut. Like it's not like I'm not a bodybuilder anymore. Like I'm still working on my physique and my weak points. But it is definitely important as a competitor to go into prep with a healthy state of mind, and I'm not like fully there yet.
yeah. I can understand that. You got a message. All the Rage George page. Take time to find your place in the process. Yeah, yeah, you got to get your mind right to do things. So, if your mind is not there, it's no point of just doing what you're doing, with bodybuilding, Like,
Yeah.
yeah, do you have now let me ask you this question. Like, how many times do you work out? Like, like in a day?
In a day, just once.
Oh. No,
I do.
like how many times a week and like how many hours you spend in the gym also. If Sorry about that question.
Um, I strength train like I should be doing 5 days a week, but I typically end up doing six. Um, the sixth day is just kind of like, or one of those 6 days is like a free workout. Like, I'll do chest, shoulders, triceps, and then back, biceps, abs, and then my leg day. And then I'll kind of do like a touch up the other 2 days. Just kind of like doing volume work, accessory stuff for the muscles that I've already trained earlier that week. Um, but just kind of like, shoulders, things that I really want to like focus points. Um, and then the other day will be just like whatever I want to do, just for like, mental relief. Um, but I am really focusing on not overtraining. Um, my coach has really stressed that to me, and I'm understanding it now more than ever. Especially now that like I'm mentally and emotionally like pretty fatigued. It doesn't take much to just, make me completely drained and burnt out. Um, so I'm learning how to use my training sessions to my advantage to make me feel better and for it to be like a place of relief versus like adding more pain onto what I'm already feeling and like not good kind of pain. Like just going so hard to where like I'm in so much pain to where I can't feel the pain from other things. And like, I've chilled out with that approach, because I'm pissed and he helps me work through that kind of pain so that I don't have to like completely kill myself with my workouts. Um, but yeah, I just have a balance between like an hour, 45 minutes to an hour of strength training, 5 to 6 days a week. And then I also do a couple of fasted cardio sessions in the morning, like maybe three 30-minute sessions. And that's just kind of like on the less intense training days. Um, and then sometimes I'll do a little bit of cardio, like 15, 20 minutes right after my workout, or, walking with my clients and things like that.
Yeah, yeah. Do your muscles feel tight? Like how do you feel like when you drain this stuff? If I can ask you that question.
No, they don't. I do a lot of like isolations and like unilateral movements. I like to do single arm pull downs and um, really work the negatives. So doing like leg extensions and then going very very slow on the way down and then go up.
Yeah.
Um, that really helps me. It's kind of like meditation because I'm feeling
Okay.
the muscle fibers engage. It's very controlled movement. Like, oh, I bench press like 225 and this and that, and I'm like, no, actually, I just use like 5 pound dumbbells, and I just go really slow and control the weight. And I like to do what I can feel. Like, there's no point in lifting a heavy weight if I can't control it, not if I can't feel it, because that doesn't
Yeah.
translate actually making gains. That's just flinging around heavy weight, and I don't need to impress anyone.
Well, you don't mind if I show some pictures of you. How do people react to you as a? as a bodybuilder? Do you get like, you know, people asking you out on a date or anything like that?
Um, so people that I, communicate with on a daily basis, or just people, in my area where I live, um,
Right,
I'd say they react to me. Um, Sometimes just the looks, because in the New England area, I feel like people are a little bit more respectful about, commenting on people's body, which I really appreciate.
right.
Like, as an introvert, I don't want someone just like hollering out like, "Damn, you are swole," like things like that, because then everyone's gonna look at me and I just want to run and hide. Um, you know, I think it's the same way as like if you were commenting on someone being overweight. Either way, it's still talking about a person's body, and I think that more people should use a little bit more discretion when it comes to that. Um, but I could definitely tell by the looks, like whenever I walk into a place that's not like the gym community, just like let's say Panera or Walmart, then people just kind of, or the beach. The beach is a big one. Me and my clients, we went to the beach in Maine. Everyone just like stopped and turned their head and looked at us like we were freaks.
Yeah.
We're
I mean,
healthy.
you don't look like, just looking at your pictures, you don't look like too intimidating. You have a, yeah, I mean, you're in physique, right?
Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know, maybe in person, I don't know if you're wide like that to a point where like people just kind of giving you that attention. I mean, like there's times I've seen women, bodybuilders, up close, and there's times that I've looked and stared and stuff like that, but when I did it, it was like, wow, I was fascinated, by it. Always, when I was a teenager, I've worked out also, and but especially, like maybe like 15 or 16, I started recognizing bodybuilders like that, and it was on TV and at that time, and somehow they were like even invited in talk shows. You don't see that no more, but when around at the time when I was a teenager, I was kind of, I would say, mesmerized by it. And so like through adulthood, I would actually see a bodybuilder and I'd be like, wow, that's fascinating. One time, like in Manhattan, I was passing by like this gym, and I seen this woman and she's running on a treadmill and her legs were so big. And I'm like, I just stood there, and there was this guy, he was sitting there, and I was looking, but then I seen him, and then I just kept it moving. It was like to a point where I wish I could have my phone and record it, because I mean, because she was beautiful, and just seeing it. But but I noticed, at times, having that infatuation, it kind of hurts you a bit, because some people, they're not, friendly, and
But
you get in trouble, if I could say that. So
they're fascinated. I I'm not offended by that at all. It's just like, how they approach me, that makes a big difference. Like, it's
yeah,
all how you deliver, what you want to say. Like, you know, even if it's supposed to be a compliment, like a lot of people can say it to where it's not a compliment.
mm,
Let's say a person feels insecure about themselves, but they're looking at someone who is, like very built, and they're mesmerized by it. Um, and then instead of saying, "Wow, your physique is very admirable, keep the hard work," a very neutral compliment, um, they might say something like, "Damn, you're jacked. Back back when I used to play football, I used to be built, but then I tore my rotator, and then they start going off on a tangent about themselves, or they might
Oh,
a comment about their own body. Dang, I need better shape, but they'll say that to me, and it's like, was that supposed to be a compliment? Do you mean to say something nice to me? Because like saying something negative about yourself, like that just makes me feel awkward now.
oh, I don't know about that one, but
Get
yeah. I
weird.
mean, yeah. I mean, people, people is very people can be weird. I gotta give you that one. People always making assumptions of female bodybuilders. Yeah, I mean, like, was you like even before you was competing? Was you kind of like pay attention to the competitions and stuff like that, or
No, I
no?
bodybuilder. It's probably just because I always like run my own business. And I'm always busy, but I don't really keep tabs with like what's going on as far as like other competitors or who my the competition is when I'm competing. I'm really like too channeled in on like my own prep, and I just kind of stay in my own lane. I don't know of like all the famous bodybuilders and stuff, and I don't have like one person that I just like watch all the time. So
Well, I was saying like before, but I could take that. I would, yeah, I would take that, like, because I think so you're saying that before you didn't really care too much about it, and then somebody kind of put you on to was that your coach then, like that put you on to competing?
my friend, I mean, he's
Oh,
still,
okay.
but he has done it. He's like in his mid 40s, and he's competed. His mom was a bodybuilder, so he's competed ever since he was like 16. He made Mr. Georgia, and he's also a pro bodybuilder now, like men's bodybuilding. Um, and he also went to school for it. So um, when we worked at the same gym together in Hilton Head, South Carolina, that's where we became friends. And it was probably like a year after that that he said, "You're ready to compete. Like you could start prep and like easily win a show." And I didn't think so, but I took his word. And then I began my first show prep. We're still best friends. I'd say that's like my tightest best friend. He comes and visits me here in New Hampshire, and I go visit him. And usually, like, what we do is like make ice cream together and go find
Ice
like
cream? Oh. Yeah. Oh, you guys make ice cream? Like, what you mean? Like, just like make your original ice cream flavors or something like that?
an ice cream maker, and so we'll get like
Oh, okay. Okay.
I like the limited edition Oreos, like the seasonal ones. Um, we've done like lemon bliss ice cream. Um, what are some limited editions? Like the strawberry shortcake, or like the
Yeah.
and then we like crush it up and put it in the ice cream maker, and we'll just use like stevia for the sweetener, but then we'll use like you know like regular half and half, like so it'll be full fat, but like no sugar. And we'll make
Yeah.
our ice cream.
Yeah. I picked up an ice cream that it has like oat milk in it, and then it has like these different type of layers, like clusters of cookie crumbs, and yeah, but it tastes good. Yeah, it tastes good and stuff. I was like, wow, this is good. It's not like regular milk ice cream. I like the fruit bars with the like strawberry fruit bars and stuff. It's not like I don't know to say icy, but it's. it's similar to an icy, but it's just fruit bars. It tastes really good. I like that. That's my favorite one, I would say.
To make those
So
too.
yeah, you can
Really,
make that. Man, I will fall in love with you if you make
that's what I'm.
that. Because that's my favorite, especially when it's hot. Like man, like you know what's my favorite one? Watermelon. Watermelon is my favorite one. Oh man, I feel like I'm in paradise when just just getting that. I even go to like the supermarket and get that particular flavor. I like watermelon and mango. Yeah, that those particular flavors, man. I feel like I'm in paradise. I swear, like I'm not playing. I love that flavor. That flavor is so good, man. It's not even funny. I'm not all the way to George Payne. He like rainbow slushy. The thing is with like the with the slushies and stuff like that because like where I live at, they have they have like these trucks where people sell them, but then it's like you taste one and then you get real thirsty. I don't like that, and especially when it gets really hot, So I just like I'm gonna get the one from a supermarket. So that's what I like mostly.
Yeah.
So so like how was you how would like when you first started like when you got into this stage, were you really nervous at the time, people looking at you?
When I first started competing, or when I first
Yeah. When on your first show, like was you nervous?
I think there gets like there's a certain point of being so tired and hungry that like the nervousness isn't even a thing. Like it feels like I it's impossible for me to even have that feeling because like nervousness requires like having energy and I'm just like flatline. Like I'm like, okay, as soon as I'm done with the show, I'm gonna go get some Taco Bell. I'm gonna get a cheesy gordita crunch with beans instead of beef and extra baja. Like, I'm not worried about, oh, who in the crowd is looking at me? Like, what do they think? Like, I'm a very like deliberate person, so I know a lot of people like through the process of prep and like even the shows and stuff, like they do it because other people are like giving them validation. And honestly, I don't give a damn what anyone else thinks. If I did, I wouldn't be a physique competitor because you know how many people say, "Oh, you look like a man," or blah blah. Hmm. Like, I would be like a bikini competitor because everyone's like gaga over bikini girls. So it's like I don't I don't care what other people think is attractive. Like I'm not asking them to sleep with me. So like I I do just like what the judges want to see. Like that's
Right.
what I care about, what the judges think, um, not the audience. And yeah, I paid.
Was it? No, I was gonna ask you what was. No, I was gonna ask you was your last competition the All American?
Was it All American?
Yeah, I think you. Oh, I don't have the picture, but it's a competition called All American. I don't know if I'm saying it right. But
No,
what
it's
was your last competition though? If
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Pittsburgh. Oh,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
that was a
And
huge.
what was that recently or
I went pro at the end of 2022.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. That's not too long ago. Okay, okay. Yeah, like well, like outside of bodybuilding, like you do you yeah, I noticed that you do have like people that you train and stuff, like this gentleman right here.
Brian.
Yeah. Now, how was Brian when he first started?
Um, like as far as what, like? Ask me like something more specific.
Okay, like when like when when trying to get in shape and stuff, like his transitioning to 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 wanting to work out, and then his process overall. If you could, if I could.
Well, he he was kind of like, the same as me before, bodybuilding. Like he would already wake up, and be working out at like 6 o'clock in the morning. Um, he was very strict about his training regimen, and so it's a matter of him following my directions. He would eat healthy before, but he didn't know like what to cut out and when to cut it out. Um, and then especially, like the things that you have to do like right leading up to the show, like the carb loading and things like that. Um, so yeah, I mean, he was good. He just, like I tell my clients, just listen to your coach. There's
Yeah,
nothing to think about if they follow the directions, and he did. He looked great. That was his very first show, and he's like also in his 40s. So good job.
that's good. Like how long for you? Like how long do you see yourself competing?
I don't make plans for myself really. Like, I mean, obviously, choose a show that I want to do, then that's a plan. But like right now, I'm just gonna roughly say like that I might start prep for my next show sometime next year. Um,
Okay,
Everything changes like on it by day to day, week by week. Like something could happen to where, physically or like mentally, to where like I just shift, like my thoughts on things. Like I'm constantly evolving, and I feel like it kind of limits, um it's placing limits on myself whenever I like set up plans on things that like I might want to change later on down the road. Like, I may get to next year and then be like, actually, I'm not really feeling like I'm ready to prep for a show. I think I'm just gonna, do kind of like a mock prep and then do some photo shoots and video shoots like I'm doing this year. Like I'm in prep right now, and I'm just gonna do, a couple of photo shoots. I'm doing prep alongside my client Megan, who is actually at her first show, August 12th. So I'm like supporting her in that, like being hungry with
I
her.
think yeah, I have a reel if you want to check it out.
Yeah. It's written like cartoon. The jewelry and bitches I'm fucking with always the same, dripping like monsoon. Don't fuck with the platoon. We getting it popping like balloon, making moves like serpentine. Got all these dudes all confused. Air Force what I'm stepping on. It's me, Henny, and Benjamin. Too sick, I need medicine. Fuck around, even like skeleton. She tripping like menopause. All these dudes be acting hard, but ain't doing shit. Metapods, never lost with no flaws. I'm getting it going again. Not fucking with fake friends.
I don't want to get the copyright too much. But was that her?
Yep, that's Megan. That was when
Okay.
pro at her first OCB show. She won everything, all the classes, and like age group, the overall. She took everything. And so now she's in prep officially for her first NPC show, which I think she's still gonna make first overall. Um, but yeah, we're doing prep together so we can both be hungry and look at pictures of food. She's already tagging me and
Yeah,
stuff. And
that's good. That's cool. All the way George Page asks who she wants to shoot with.
who Megan wants to shoot with?
No, who do you want to shoot? I think he's referring to you
Oh,
since you doing your
so
photos. Since you're doing like photos and all that stuff.
so far I have booked with Sean Nelson. He's the one who did a couple of my photo shoots. Um, One of the photos a lot of people know is like the halter top
But this
red.
is HD. Is
Um,
he?
Krivda, he did that one, and like so. Yeah, I'm shooting with Sean Nelson in July, and then also Lou Krivda, and I think Jeff Benz. I'm not sure. But yeah, I have 3 photo shoots so far that I'm gonna do, and then just trying to like fill in the spaces and book some more. You know, if there's other photographers in that area at that time, but might as well like make some money off from my physique. You know, since I'm not
Well,
have some
I,
pictures.
no, I wanted to ask you like how do you gain their trust and stuff? Like how do you feel comfortable working with them?
Um, I mean, they're just cool people, and I've
Yeah.
actually worked with them since like for several years. Shortly after doing my first national show, um, like that's how long I've been shooting with them. Um, and like we make a good time out of it. Like we'll go out to eat, hang out and stuff, and then well, actually, we'll do that after the photo shoot, not before. But yeah, like I just hang out with them, like like I would my clients or my friends. Like they're just people.
Yeah. No, I just asked, because, I've heard stories about, there's guys that wanted to, there's some people that they want to do photography with, and, they may not be good at, it's a trust issue with, bodybuilders and photographers. That's why I asked. I remember I talked to Lou Kriver one time on Facebook, and I wanted to know like how he started, and he told me he started like just going to the shows and taking pictures and stuff like that till he made a business out of it. I was like, wow, that's cool. Sean Nelson, I seen like his interview with All the Rage George Page. It was good, he just finds ways to just the bodybuilders talk highly of him and stuff. He makes the women feel comfortable and stuff. But I ask, because there's guys that want to do photography with women bodybuilders and stuff, and and it's not really easy to do that type of thing. So
Photographers apart from others is that they are transparent about like what kind of photo shoots they do, and then also
okay,
um, kind of like seeing what the person is okay with. Like, if they, are okay with posing in a bikini and like, doing a lot of like photos of like their backside and stuff. Some females don't like doing kind of like the promiscuous photo shoots and,
right,
some so I like that they, are very transparent about that. And also accommodating. Like I I wouldn't put anything online that I am not okay with the whole entire world seeing. And
right,
so like that to them, that like these are my limits. Any photo that I let you take of me, I don't care what you do with it. Because like I don't care where it shows up. It's if I would let them take a photo of me like that, then it's something that like I am okay with doing. So
right, right. When you was explaining, there was I remember I watched the news about this guy. He did like this peep at Tom thing where he recorded this woman taking a shower, and stuff. And she was a commentary of Dancing with the Stars. And so the woman didn't know that I don't know how he got in or something. I think he got in the room and took a picture of her. He was recording her and stuff like that, whatever. But he put it online and stuff, and the woman was humiliated, and they arrested him. And so they was asking him why he did it. Then he was like, it was for the money. And so I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Also, why
That
that-
is crazy.
that's definitely against.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Yep.
He, yeah, he all the ways George Page, Clyde Wanda, you should send her a link from your interview with Bill Dobbins. Yeah, I've interviewed on Bill Dobbins like around last year. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He did like pictures with Linda Murray, Shannon Bruno, um Kim Tversky. Yeah, he was also he was like years ago he did an interview with Geraldo and stuff with the women, and he was discussing about yeah, it was called he published a book. It was called The Women, and he had like pictures of bodybuilders in the '90s and stuff. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but I had a pleasure of interviewing him, opportunity to interview him. So, you know,
Yes.
and he also says it's a trust issue with any photographer and model. And Sean is a pretty cool guy. And a question for somebody, does she do figure? No, she do women's physique. Have you ever did figure?
So when I began competing, I started off as a figure competitor. Um, I had wanted to eventually do physique, but I was okay if I, happened to go pro in figure. Um,
Right.
so I remember it was one of my shows that I was gonna just kind of like see if I fit in with physique by doing figure and crossing over into physique. And then my coach told me, like, save your $225, just go for physique. Like, don't even bother with figure anymore. If your goal is to compete in physique, like, just this is your starting point going forward. Um, and so yeah, I did several competitions figure, and then when I started competing in physique, I was always like one spot away from pro, and that was at like my very first show doing physique, since I started at national level. And I, again, like what my coach told me, it really started to sink in because I didn't think that I was prepared for physique you know until I got on stage, and then it resulted in that. Um, so yeah, physique all the way. I'm not planning on moving up. I'm not planning on moving down. Not that like figure is moving down, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Would you consider going back to figure about the way of divisions, the way I was looking?
Would I
Would
consider?
you consider like because like the way how the divisions are like they you can't tell really so at times like between a figure competitor and a physique competitor. So I
Right.
don't know.
Um, I definitely fit in with physique better. Um, I don't have wide hips, but like figure competitors, the like really good ones, they have a very very narrow waist. And no matter how big I make my lats or how big my legs get, like I can't change the way that like my bone structure. And so that's why I do very well with being in physique, because then I have the perfect symmetry, and I'm not shooting for something that's unattainable. It's kind of like if someone who has like naturally a really big build tries to compete in bikini. Like no matter how much they diet down, they're just not gonna have that bikini look. It kind of looks like it's being forced. So I like competing in physique. I like the way that we get to flex our biceps and really showcase like our muscles and not just like the front and the side pose. And like with the creating our own routine and stuff, like it's kind of like you get to incorporate like your personality into it, and it feels good to me.
Yeah, I mean, you have a nice look. I've looked through your pictures and stuff. You know, yeah. Like, what's your favorite workout? Like, for you?
Depends. I mean, really, just as long as I have a good workout, like then that's good enough. Like it could be, a really good chest workout or a really good leg workout. Like some days, you know, I might train chest. And it would be like how I would feel
Oh shit. Okay.
going. Um,
All right.
yeah, like if I'm not feeling like training legs that day, it might be like a subpar kind of workout. But then let's say the next day when I train chest, I will get all those endorphins, and that's what would make it a good training session. So not necessarily just like a specific muscle group that I'm like, yeah, this is my favorite all the time.
Yeah. So you told me you do yoga. Like how many years you been doing that? Like, how you got started doing that?
I've been teaching yoga for as long as I've been training clients.
Oh, okay. Do you study like the philosophies of it and all that stuff?
Not too much on the philosophies.
Oh,
Most
okay.
so the kind of classes that I teach, we don't do like the whole dragon breath and like I'm not talking spiritual to my, my it's just like very deep intense stretches, and I'm like giving instructions throughout, so it's like very just like very chill class. I'll make sure that everyone is getting into a stretch that like accommodates their needs, because not everyone can get into that same exact position. So I have to
Yeah,
make. I'll just talk to them. I'll be like, "Hey, so and so, try to like use the block and put your shoulder on it." So it sounds kind of like the same way as like when I'm training people, like personal training.
yeah. I did yoga years back and stuff. I was like self-teaching myself. I would get like books and stuff. Like I would do like the sun salutation, 'cause that was like the warm up, and then you do the other asanas and stuff. I did like the crane and all of the wheel a lot and stuff. I would kind of like trying to like practice, like be more flexible, like bending my back more on it and stuff. And then I kind of like did an upgrade. I did like qigong exercises. I currently do like Falun Dafa. It's like 5 sets of exercises, and you study like the principles of truthfulness, compassion, forbearance. And I've been doing that for like since 2006 and stuff. So yeah, I've had like a journey of working out, do calisthenics and stuff. So you know, like what the terms of diet. How's your diet? Like what do you eat like during like the day or something like that?
Just do whatever fits my macros. Really,
No.
it. I don't like get fancy with my food anymore. Like, I mean, if I'm just like going through a work day, I don't really like enjoy it. It's like I'm interacting with people. I'm trying to like take some bites in between instructions to several people. So I'm not like having that intimate like connection with my food where I'm like, you know, appreciating like all the colors and it being warm and eating with utensils and stuff. I'll usually just like it'll be like a cold piece of like haddock or something in a container, and I'll just pick it up and with my fingers and eat that in between talking to people. um but yeah, it's nothing like too elaborate. As any good coach knows, like there's not any like one specific food that like will make or break, or yeah, make or break your physique. It's like just a matter of it fitting your macros. So like I could have something that looks to be like cheat food, but really as long as it follows my macros, then it's fine to eat. But yeah, I just keep
Yeah,
it. I'm a pescatarian, which means I only eat seafood, so it's like a type of
yeah,
vegetarian. So I don't eat meat. It's just all different types of fish. Most times I'll just like drink the egg whites because if I'm busy, I'll just like put some stevia in the bottle and just drink the egg whites, kind of like a protein shake. Um, and then just like sweet potatoes, red potatoes, oats, gluten-free crackers, whatever.
yeah. I don't. I mean, I put me being a pescatarian. I remember I tried being a vegetarian.
Yeah,
The reason why, yeah, I because my cholesterol was high, when I was younger, like in my 20s, and so the doctor was like, for somebody your age, your cholesterol is very high. So, I was kind of like trying to self-teaching myself to be, eat healthy, you know, and it's not very easy all the time either, because you do have food tempting you and all that stuff. So, yeah.
well, I
I mean, my last, oh, you,
feel like
you just gotta ask me something?
eat something that is good for your body, then like you I don't know, for me at least, I start liking the foods that make me feel good. And any
Yeah,
food healthier, like that's nourishing your body. And so I don't really understand like why we think that our bodies crave certain foods that are like awful for us, because it's like an instant learning lesson that as soon as we eat it, we feel bad, whether it's like we feel
yeah, that's true. That's
or
true.
um intestinal issues for the next 48 hours. It's like
Yeah,
your body continue to crave something like that. Like usually we crave things that make us feel good.
right. But people, people like, especially like behind the yeah, I remember one time, I went to with Krispy Kreme, and they would kind of like every time like you would get like a box, right? You could get another box. So, like, if you buy one, you'll get another extra box and stuff. And so this young lady, I was telling her like, look, I can't eat all this donuts because I know it's not good for me. And so she started laughing, and because I knew, I think we both knew like what was behind it, because the kind of the food industry, they push all this sugar and cholesterol and stuff. Like even like if you go to McDonald's, I bet you'll see a lot of people like waiting online, just ordering stuff that's not even good for them. So, and then sometimes I used to work at McDonald's because like especially the school kids, they would come every day, like spend their money and lose their mind and stuff. And even the adults too. Like there's some adults, they would eat like the same thing every day, order the same thing every day. So it's a lot. So
That it's like a document on Netflix where it's like this guy that eats fast food every single day for 30 days.
yeah, I heard about that. I heard about that.
Drastically it changed all of his blood work. and that he went from
Yeah.
being like borderline dying.
Mm,
And if that's all,
yeah. All the way when that's like it's on, then the donuts are fresh and hot. He says that movie you referring to was Super Size Me.
yes, that's right.
Yeah, I've heard about that. I've heard about that. Yeah, I think the docu. Yeah, I think he made other the person that made the movie. He made other documentaries and stuff.
I
Yeah,
people to for that to be like exposed, because a lot of people that let's say they didn't grow up with parents that fed them healthy food, then like eating fast food is the norm for them, and they don't see that as like occasionally treating themselves. It's like that's just what we do. As soon as we don't eat breakfast at home, we get up, and as soon as like we hit the road, we look for Dunkin' Donuts and we eat our breakfast there. And like to actually see how harmful doing that is on like a daily basis, and how that
yeah,
affects blood work and your overall health. And, um, I,
can you hear me?
sorry,
Can you hear me? No, I don't know if it's my headphones, but you was breaking up. I don't know. Like I don't know. I'm not sure.
hear me.
Yeah, I hear you now. I hear you now.
But yeah, I think it's important that like it's exposed, so that the people who eat like that, if they were looking to be informed on how harmful it is, then they can have that information.
Yeah, yeah. Like I wanted to skip. I wanted to move to something else. Something that you was talking about a therapist. Like for you, like how many like days you see the therapist, if your mommy asking?
I meet with my therapist once a week.
Okay. What's the benefits of you seeing the therapist? Because I just to educate me on that and the viewers.
So instead of suppressing, I have like a habit of suppressing the things, like very heavy emotions that I don't want to deal with, either because I don't want to deal with it or I don't know how to deal with it. I just like work out, or stay busy doing something, and eventually those need to be aired out, or there's going to be like a mental breakdown. So it helps to be able to talk to someone about the emotions that I'm feeling, because my daily basis is like tending to other people's needs and feelings and wants, and making sure that they're fulfilled. And then also like talking to my lawyer, like law enforcement, like they don't care about like the emotional part. It's more of like events and you know kind of like, I don't know, just game planning. you know um I don't know, it's just I don't know how to explain
Well, you don't have to go Pacific. I just wanted to ask, like the benefits like you seeing a therapist, but
it. Like I said, it's just good to be able to like talk about the emotions with someone, you know 'cause, like
yeah.
I do stuff here, and my clients are like the closest people to me. I consider them my friends and my family, but at the same time, that's also like I am supposed to provide them a service, and so I do not feel comfortable myself like putting my shit on their plate. They could put all their shit, pile it up on my plate, and that's what I want them to feel comfortable with doing. But definitely, I feel comfortable with like, just telling them about all my emotions and stuff going on because I want them to come to me for like what they so yeah, I talk to my therapist and I get it all out, and that way I can kind of like be more focused whenever I'm doing other things. Um,
Yeah,
Continuously like suppressing, taking my stuff, putting it in a box, putting it more in a box, and more.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's a lot. Like, you're kind of like a therapist seeing a therapist, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
You know. So,
a lot of
yeah,
jobs. Like my one of my clients has their own salon, and so like hair. I feel like a lot of like uh people who do beauty and stuff, whether it's like doing a person's makeup or their hair, like they are also therapists because their clients come to them. And
yeah. I've
what
heard that. Yeah, yeah. I've heard that. Yeah, yeah. I remember this guy. He was talking about like I think he left because it was a lot for him, like the energy, like just people telling you stuff, and so yeah, that's a lot. I mean, I wouldn't be personally. I couldn't do that because just trying to get my mind right. It's already an obstacle, and then you other people's stuff, and but each his own. I mean, I wish you the best. So therapy is important for health, mind, and body. Yeah, I mean, some people. I remember I tried to do it. For me, I don't know. I was young at the time, and I was kind of searching with myself, and like there was a point where I did took like medication, Thorazine, Haldol, and all that craziness. I was acting up. I was living in a boy's home, and I was pretending like I was gonna jump out the window and stuff, but I wasn't. And so, they took me to like a psych ward, and I was there for like 3 months and stuff, acting up and stuff, and then they gave me Haldol, Thorazine, and stuff, and then I had to go back to the boys' home, and and just like coping with that, I just kind of, and I would see the therapist too, but it didn't help me and stuff. I didn't felt like that kind of helped me. I just had to find my own way, because I just see life as you're gonna deal with problems. You're not you in this world where it's not going to be comfortable for you. You're going to go through stuff that you just have to deal with. You know, so
has like a different point in their life when they're actually like ready to face the truth and make changes. And if you're not in that mind frame where you're actually ready to make the change, then therapy isn't going to do a thing. And
yeah,
also,
yeah, yeah,
everyone could use a therapist, even the people who like don't have problems that they're going through. Like therapy isn't just for people who are like moving through problems. Like it could just be like a therapist is an expert on like the brain. So like we can just talk about interactions that we have with our friends, and then a therapist can be like more introspective, um about like this is a healthy interaction, this is unhealthy. How do you feel when you're around this type of person? Well, why do you think that you feel that way? Like kind of like bringing you to the realization of things that you wouldn't think of otherwise.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I can't, debate about that. There's people that do need it. Just for me, I kind of, I try to do my own therapy if it makes sense. I try to evaluate myself. Like if I did something wrong, kind of like look at it like, like I look with, I try to look within, and it's me studying, my spiritual faith, falling down for it. I do that. That's my therapy. So to each
No,
his own.
there's so many different forms of therapy, and I
Yeah,
you know, I already want to improve myself, and like I do the things that I can do that I'm capable of to improve who I am as a person. But just like the best competitors out there, they have a coach, and then let's say that coach, also competes in bodybuilding, then they have a coach because it's like sometimes we can't get outside of our own heads. Well, of course we can't. We can't think with someone else's brain. We always think with our brain. And so
yeah.
it's to have, someone else who is an expert in that area, help guide us. So like doctors have doctors, coaches have coaches. My coach has a coach, you know. And it also
Who's
takes
your
that
coach? If I don't mind,
Hobbs,
say that again. I'm sorry.
Chris Hobbs.
Oh, Chris Hobbs. Oh, okay. Never heard. I never heard it. I never really, I'm not familiar with the coaches. That's why I asked. So
Yeah, I'm not either. And I don't know if he's like, if a lot of people know of him, but
yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. I really thank you for your giving me the opportunity to talk with you. So yeah, yeah. So I gotta go because I'm expecting a call through the phone. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have took that long, but I really learned a lot with you on your journey and stuff. So I wish you well. Okay.
much.
All
Have a
right. You too.